1 minute fam. Let me get set up here. All right, fellas. What's up, Facebook family? Hey, we got to talk about this. We definitely have to talk about this. There's a lot of different views going. There's a lot of different conversations that's happening around it, and really, my thing is the lack of conversation or the lack of action behind some groups. And so I'm gonna get into it in 1 second. And so we're gonna leave it. We'll leave it right there for right now. Here we go. All right. So one of the things I want to talk about in here is the fact that no one, so in the one of the things I want to talk about in the community here is the fact that no one, so in the one of the things I want to talk about in the community here is the fact that, all right. So like I said, one thing I want to talk about is the fact that no one in the Hebrew community has really done anything that is like standing out. Like no one has done anything to support Kyrie Irving. Now, anyone that knows me knows, like, I consider myself a comedic. I practice, I try to practice, I study ancient Egyptian spirituality, I try meditation, and that would be my, what you want to call my spiritual background. I've talked to a lot of brothers, know a lot of brothers that are in the Hebrew faith. And this really isn't even about the religions as much as it is about just the human rights that, Kyrie has. And, for what he allegedly they said he did is just by simply posting something, you know what I mean? Just by allegedly posting something, he now is, now he's suspended. You know what I'm saying? He's suspended from the NBA for up to 5 games. They tried to get him to apologize, and he wouldn't apologize. He says he stands on what he stands on. You know. Now, I watched the documentary. I watched it, and it's nothing that I haven't heard before because I've been in certain platforms, or I've listened to certain platforms, and I've debated certain people on certain things. So there's really nothing that in the documentary that was new or anything that I could see that was anti-Semitic as far as in his position, because he's considered himself a Hebrew. So there'd be like another black person saying that he's racist against black people. It's not like that. But the fact that he would not apologize, the NBA said that they wanted to suspend him and $500,000. $500,000. Now, if anybody don't think that's crazy, I don't know what is. I really don't. I really don't know what to tell you. If you don't think that is if you don't think that's crazy, then like I said, I don't know what is crazy. No other group of people can get someone not only to pay for what they say for the whole nation, but then expect and then get an apology behind it, except one group of people. That's it. I mean, you can call black people whatever you want to call them. You can talk about Muslims and Palestinians and Hindus and Native American people. You could call them all kind of things. You could say all kind of things. But when it comes to a certain group of people, it doesn't matter whether it's the truth or not. You bet not open your mouth. You bet not say anything. And if you do, you're going to pay for it. Now, this leads into what Kanye West was saying. And, it's doing nothing but proving him right, right? Is this all it's doing? A lot of us already knew a lot of these things. And some people know a lot more. But it's just proving right. It had nothing to do with basketball. It had everything to do with he saw something, he saw interest in it, and he posted it. That was what he did. And it was going to a certain demographic of people, which he says is his people. It wasn't for no one else. He wasn't out there bashing any, certain people, any Jews. He wasn't doing that. But yet and still they want to make him the target, him the sacrificial lamb. While meanwhile, it's on Amazon, because that's where I saw it. And the crazy thing is that if the media wouldn't have blew this up, I would have never known about this documentary or this book. I would have never, ever known about it. I wouldn't have thought twice about looking at it or putting it up or anything. But for the simple fact that they blew it up the way they did, I was curious. And that's what I believe one of the commentators from the NBA was saying. He said it's that curiosity factor. Like, why are they going after him so hard? It doesn't make sense. So I went and I looked at it, and it was just commentary about biblical scriptures and linguistics and genetic markers and so forth and so on, proving a point. But no one is telling you who is against what Kyrie is saying where he's wrong. What is inaccurate about what he's saying? The hell with your feelings. What is he saying? And he is not even saying anything against your feelings. He's not attacking any one specific person or group, but yet they continually go after him. And the shame in all this is that no one is speaking up for him. No one. I don't hear any Hebrew groups. One brother said that he's only for Gila Geechee, and the other, he got points on it. And I'm telling you, I am glad that I am a person who leans towards African spirituality in my eye. That I don't have to deal with this foolishness, because it shows you where people are. It shows you where their heart is and what their convictions are. It shows you just where black people are in general. When he made this stance, there was about five, I would say about maybe 5 to 8 Jewish people in the front row that says fight anti-Semitism, right? In the front row, sitting right there, as a tactic to draw his attention to them, almost if you say there was a kind of like a bully thing. And no one said anything. No particular black group or Hebrew Israelite group came out and said anything or did anything or addressed it. It was kind of like it's just under the rug. It's like, okay, Kyrie, you get what you get. And that's what one of the brothers said. One of the brothers said, let me read some. I just want to read some of these comments that one of the brothers was saying that that I thought was. He says, and I'm just calling it. It says Manny Miller. He says, "Fam, ain't nobody boycotting a damn thing. The media always brings that to the forefront when they need people's attention. Right? This I get it. I understand it, and that is true. But this is something that actually needs attention. This is something that requires people to tune in and see, because it's a violation of your civil rights. Period. It's a freedom of speech violation. And I don't understand why people do not get that. I do not understand this. And then another brother, Joel St. Hill, he says he spoke against the Jews, so he gets what he gets. And I don't understand that. What do you mean he spoke against the Jews? That he said that he is the real Jew, so that's speaking against the Jews? So self-pride equals hate for someone else. And then it says anti-Semitism won't be tolerated. Tolerated by whom? And where was the anti-Semitism, whatever the word is, Semiticism? Where was the anti-Semitism? What exactly did he do that was anti-Semitic? And then we bring up, I don't even want to bring up Jeff Bezos and Amazon, because he put it on there. And we shouldn't be looking at Jeff Bezos. We should be looking at why you're just stick to why are you on Kyrie so hard? It can't be that big of a deal because it's on the platform. No one's attacked their platform. So why are you on him? And it's because what he said. It's the documentary. And most people haven't even looked at the documentary to even make a comment. They're just talking. They really don't know what Kyrie said and what Kyrie's position was or what the documentary was. They have no idea. They're just talking. And as a black man out here looking and seeing what's happening to this brother who has not done anything but supported his people, and then he gets an assault on him, and no one says nothing as far as in a large mass, no organization, no groups. But you are organizing your group for stupid shit like you want to make Kanye West a millionaire, a GoFundMe. I'm not saying what Kanye is doing isn't credible or viable, but what I'm saying is that the energy is spent on certain things don't make sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. But yet and still, this is what we'll do. No NBA player. It would be so easy for when this came out, LeBron, Steph, other people in the organization, the players union would say, no, you can't suspend him. He didn't violate any NBA rule. He just made a post on Twitter. You can't do that. And if you do that, then we'll sit out until we can get this resolved. Until you can find out what was his point, where he was coming from, what the video said, and what he meant by it. Who was he addressing? But no, not even the NBA players came together to support him. Nothing. We don't need no help. We just need to sit and be comfortable. And the thing is that we want to be comfortable, and we want to sit at the table. And we have opportunity to build our own table, and then you can come and sit at a table as equals. But no one wants to do that. You want them to give you something. I get it. The NBA is owned by people who have total control of their business, and you can't keep begging and pleading for somebody to give you something. I think that's my only gripe with Kanye. Kanye is, he's a genius in some things, and he had the money to do what he needed to do to secure himself, build industry himself, sell his own product, manufacture his own product, build relationships with other people overseas, Africa, China, Taiwan, build those relationships and build those infrastructures where if something like that happened to him, he could just move, just do you. But no, he wants to be the Da Vinci, and he needs Bakari, and he needs Adidas, and he needs all these other people to back him and to push him. And when they were backing him, pushing him, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing anything. There's something I can say is like, what happens once he gets his seat at the table? Does he go back to business as usual? Or does he stand up and does he continue to say what he's saying? And that's the reason why these NBA players aren't saying what they're saying, is because the person who suspended Kyrie write their checks. Charles Barkley is an idiot to say what he said. Shaq, I love Shaq. That was a stupid comment. He says he hates that when you gotta, dividing the NBA when some idiot makes a comment. He didn't make any comment that was diversive to the NBA. He didn't kneel on a basketball court. He didn't make any bold statement during the game, during the flag, or during the national anthem. He didn't do any of that. But I understand why Shaq. I understand why Shannon Brown. Love Shannon Brown. Shannon Sharp. I get it why they say that. It's because the same people that got him suspended is the same people that's writing their checks, which is the same people that put that paper in front of them and told them the points in which to speak on and to get that out. To make it seem as if Kyrie's crazy, if Kyrie is trying to be just difficult. They want to be able to control and silence certain people. And Kyrie just is not that person. And for them to be so dismissive and to be so aiding in what's going on with Kyrie, it was just crazy to me. I bought NBA. I bought tickets. I bought tickets. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to a Nets game. I'm not doing that. I may not go to any NBA games. I might just, I don't know, throw them away, give them away or something. And I spent over $2,000 in tickets this year, and that's the first time I've ever bought tickets. But what they're doing is not right. It's a violation against the civil rights to sit there and to try to silence him from an outside influence. Like, right? He said something against Israel. Right? They say he said something against Israel. Overseas. And I can guarantee you, not the whole Jewish community thought that. Maybe some, but not the whole, because he didn't say anything. He just posted that to Negroes, from Hebrews to Negroes. And that was anti-Semitic. Because they don't want people to watch that video. And I don't even agree with the video. I don't agree with a lot of the things that they have in it. It talks from a biblical standpoint. And then it does do some, like I said, some genetics and some linguistics. But from a biblical standpoint, I don't agree with it at all. But some people will. And those people that may agree may not look like the people who's there. And that's a problem. That's the issue. Hey, it is what it is. And that's what's going on in the NBA. And like I said, man, it's just one of those things that is unfortunate for Kyrie Irving. You know, I support Kyrie. You know, man, I wish there was more support for the brother. I wish there was something that most of us, we could organize and do. And you know, hell, don't go to an NBA game. Like I said, I got tickets. I spent over $2,000 in tickets this year. First time I ever did season tickets. And I understand that all the NBA teams don't have anything to do with. They didn't suspend them, but I'm sure that that they got together with some coaches and they spoke about it, and the consensus was to suspend them. And that's just that's my conjecture. But they didn't do anything. So I'm not putting the whole NBA. I'm putting the New Jersey Nets. I'm putting the blame on them. I'm putting the blame on his teammates who didn't speak up, didn't say anything. I'm putting a thing on the NBA, the front office, the president, the commissioner of that, um, um, and also Charles Barkley and Shaq putting out those comments. They probably didn't even call Kyrie and ask Kyrie, hey man, what was going on with that? What happened? What did you do? They said this happened. I just want to hear your side before I go on and start talking shit about you. But that ain't what they do. That ain't what people with money do. They think that, especially somebody like myself or somebody else on platforms, they expect for you to just shut up, be quiet because they got money. But this is a straight out crime in which they doing to this brother. It's criminal. It really is. And I hope he see the level of love and support he's getting from the Hebrew community. I hope he see this. The black Hebrew Israelite community. I hope he see it. Brother, you can always come to Ma'at. You can always come to Ma'at. Or go to West Africa. Go Igbo or something. Go Yoruba. But you can always come home. Because there's no support there. None. I haven't seen any. This has been going on for 2-3 days. I haven't seen any. Or maybe longer from when I've seen it. No support. It is totally and utterly ridiculous. And no one is doing anything. So, man, that's just my soapbox. I just had to get off my chest because like I said, it's crazy. How can you be suspended for 5 games and then you got to pay somebody $500,000, $500,000 for a post because they didn't like it, not because you said anything wrong. It wasn't like you called them, what they call us. It wasn't like you said Africa is or third world countries are shithole countries. It wasn't like you said like, oh, y'all monkeys or y'all should die. It wasn't like he said that y'all aren't a superior, y'all are inferior race. It wasn't like he said he supported the Holocaust. It wasn't, he didn't say any of those things. So how is it anti-Semitic? It's just crazy. His freedom of speech is suppressed, and he has to bend the knee to a group of people because he's out of line. And I'm going to make an example out of him in front of the world because of it. And just like in the past, just like in the late 1500s, 1600s, they're going to make a spectacle out of him. They're going to make an example out of him so the rest of us Negroes can see it and bow our heads, hunch our backs, put our shoulders up, look down, look the other way, and tell us, hey, you don't say that. You watch out now. They listening. It's ridiculous. It's totally damnly ridiculous. And the fact that the Hebrew community hasn't said anything to galvanize the rest of us for their brother is crazy. You come from the line of Judah. You have Yahweh. You have the Most High. You is chosen. Surely he will hear you. Surely Yahweh, the Most High, has your back. Surely he will guide you to victory. Where is he at? Where are y'all at? Maybe he don't show up because he know that a lot of y'all ain't worth shit. Y'all ain't about anything. Half of y'all Hebrews are Christians waiting for Jesus. This is ridiculous. This is just crazy. And it gets me heated because I see what happens to us in the streets. Not just Kyrie, but I see what happens to the street. People say, well, what do you do? What have you done? Well, when you want to come sit with me, I'll tell you, I don't need to run my resume down, but I can tell you, we can have that discussion. But we're not talking about, we ain't talking about we're talking about what we've done, what we're doing. And it is totally ridiculous. Where are the Hebrew Israelites? And Yame, what's up, man? What's up, man? This is ridiculous, man. I didn't watch for 2 days this to go down, man. For people to be quiet. People are quiet. It's crazy. Like, you know, I thought that the Hebrews, you know what I'm saying, this is like cross the line. This is like, you know what I'm saying? This is like, you know, you standing up for exactly who you are, and somebody's telling you, no, you're not. It's a direct opposition as far as in not in a war, but as far as an identity, and you can't even share in the identity with them. You can't even preach what you've been preaching. And here's a brother who puts it out there, says, here's some information, look at this, Hebrews the Negro, and he gets attacked for it, and no one is saying anything. No one is organizing. This is totally, utterly ridiculous to me. It is. I don't know, man. I just. Hold on, let me see if I can invite. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can put this in the chat. See if anybody might want to come on. If they do. Yeah, man. I don't understand that. Well, you tell me, what the hell is belief, right? They don't have strong belief, because we can go biblical. Tell David had belief, but he put actions behind it. He was fighting Goliath, a giant, a man of great stature, and he still stood and fought. This is literally a Hebrew test right here. Call on the tribes. Call on the camps. Call your brothers from the east. Call on your brothers from the west. Call on Yahweh. Call on the Most High. Hell, even Sheikh Anta Diop and them went to UNESCO when they went to talk about African identity. Surely that was a much more strenuous thing at that time than right now, with all the technology and the information that's out. Surely, surely, that was more. Oh yeah, I mean, let me do this real quick. Let me get you on this stream. Yami, you on? I think you're on mute, bro.
Yeah, peace. What's up?
Peace, brother. Man, it's nice to hear from you, man. Before we get into it, man, are you debating this year or what?
No, I'm gonna take this year off, let all the craziness die down.
Oh, okay.
Gotta spend a little time with the family, and then I get back in it.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you, man. A lot of brothers was lucky during the league that you ain't have the time that you probably wanted to finish up.
Yeah,
Because I as a judge and as a spectator, I used to always tell them a lot of people that are, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people that became the spotlight was there because the spotlights was gone. A lot of the heavy hitters left or didn't return.
yeah.
Right, but no, you know what I'm saying? No discredit to them. I'm just saying, I'm just recognizing, skills and knowledge of people. So,
Oh yeah. When you was judging, I always felt you was fair and balanced.
yeah, and I try to be. And I tell you
Right.
what, the only thing that I would change is that debate with Taz and Anon is I wish that we would have, instead of Solar doing it, I would have wished that we would have just had a judges meeting and came together and forced a vote. That's what I wish would have happened.
That would have been better.
What is this? Make it where I'm at.
Either forced a vote or just left it as a tie.
Yeah, it was.
That's what I was saying.
The thing is, we left it as a tie, but when we left it as a tie, they got upset. But what they don't understand is, I mean, like, for me, like I said, I don't even want to revisit it, but you know what I'm saying? But I wish that would have been it. But shout out to SVDL season 5, him and Angel. I know they got some things going on, and they brothers got my support just like everybody else. But getting on this, what is your thoughts on just the reaction or lack of reaction from the Hebrew community concerning this, Kyrie?
I mean, it's kind of expected from it because they're not really political. They're not really a political group. So their whole thing is just to stay true to the Most High. And when he's come back, he's going to deal with all this. They kind of stay hands off. But this would be their opportunity to show who they are, to challenge the Jews. If you telling everybody you the true people from the land, this is your time. Just like in Aztec, and when we was telling people that that people from Kemet was black, we had the scholars to go challenge it, and we met the challenge.
Yes.
So it's time for the Hebrews to do that, and they really are dropping the ball.
I say I agree 100%. I believe that this is a missed opportunity from them. It's a missed opportunity to put down what you believe and what you've been saying according to biblical scripture.
Right.
You've been saying this.
Right.
You will fight us. You will fight West or African spirituality, Comedics, tooth and nail.
Right.
Tooth and nail. We tell you you're not Jewish. You will tell us about what is that? Israel land or Hebrew land. You'll tell us about
Right.
the Semitics. You'll tell us about migration pattern. You bring all this shit up, and it'll be like 100 of you on a panel. But when somebody other than us says no, that's anti-Semitic, which is telling you you're not Semitic.
Right.
That's what it's saying. No, that's not you.
I wish A9 or Yara was listening and hop on the panel.
Man, I wish somebody was. Because I'm like, listen, I'm like, this would be, call your brothers to arms. You say you African. Call your brothers. Call the nations together. And we'll answer that call for you.
Right.
We'll answer. That's I mean, there are all of our brothers, but that's your brother. That's the tribe of Judah. He's coming out and saying, hey, listen, we are the black Hebrew Israelites.
Right.
That's what he said. And they said, wait a minute, that is anti-Semitic. We're not only gonna take your job from you, you're gonna have to pay us $500,000, and then I want you to publicly apologize. I want you to bend the knee and kiss the ring. And when you do that, and when you apologize, it now says that you're not that. And he knows that. That's why Kyrie said, I'm not apologizing. I stand on what I'll stand on what I stand on.
Right.
And no one is saying anything. Charles Barkley's an idiot.
Yeah. I would never listen to Charles Barkley.
Yeah, Charles Barkley, idiot. Shaq, and I like Shaq. Shaq was foul for his comment because he said, I'm tired of playing basketball, something about being divided, but it had nothing to do with basketball. It had nothing to do with a superiority. It had nothing to do with any of that. But Shaq had to put that out there because the person that suspended and was trying to get the money from Kyrie is the same person that writes his checks, the same person that controls his stuff.
Right.
So he's going to say that. But the NBA could have stood up. Players could have stood up. No one did anything. It's crazy. It is crazy, man. Because you can only see, you know what I'm saying? You can. That's the only group of people that I know that you can't say nothing about. Nothing.
Right. I mean that list is, you can't even say they rule the world.
Yeah. Yes.
If you say they control the economy of the world, that's anti-Semitic.
Yes.
Like, what?
Yes. Which is crazy because when you list the ownership of major companies and industries, all you see is Jewish names.
Right.
Right? If we did banks, you would see nothing a lot of Jewish names in there.
Right.
But you can't say that because it's anti-Semitic. And Shaq or none of them announcers even asked or saw, well, what is anti-Semitic in what he posted or what he said, how he's promoting, what is anti-Semitic about it? Yeah. And I know they didn't watch it because it's a 3-hour and 48-minute fucking documentary. I think it's about 3-4 hours. I wouldn't even looked at it if it wasn't such a big deal. I wouldn't have looked at it.
Right. I saw it. I think it was a year ago. I sat back and watched it. I mean, it's a good production.
Yeah.
It's a good production.
Yeah.
But I don't see it being anti-Semitic though.
I don't see it. Yeah.
They're taking a religion and they're taking claims to the religion that they're in.
Right.
There's very little history that you have in the first 5 books of the Bible to say who's what.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a belief system. So to say that he was coming from a place of anti-Semitism, I didn't see it. Now Kanye went a little crazy.
Yes.
but definitely not Kyrie. Kyrie, not at all.
Yes. Yeah. But they're
And I
proving.
still support Kanye.
They're proving. You know, this has done nothing but prove Kanye right. It's just supported his argument, what he's been
Right.
saying. But I'm gonna tell you now, you know, I wish, and I'll get to on their level. I pray that Yahweh turns this man's heart away from these groups, because he has no support. He has none.
Right.
Start studying. You ain't even got to study Ma'at. Study Hinduism. Become a Muslim. Because I guarantee you, if it was somebody from the Nation of Islam, Farrakhan would have stood up and said something. The Nation of Islam would have stood up and said something.
Right. Right. It's just like the argument we're having with the Egyptians,
Yes.
saying that there were no black people in Kemet. But we got scholars, we got people in biology and genetics proving it wrong, fighting back.
Right.
You're not seeing that with the Hebrews right now.
Right. No, because you know what? You know, they can say, well, you're West African, you can say what you want, right? We consider all our ancestors, all the continent of Africa as our ancestors, because we know we come from one people. And through that, we became migration and diversity, but they're still our people.
Right.
And you're not going to, no one is going to take that from us. Whether I want to be Bantu or
Right.
Zulu or whatever the hell I claim in America, whatever I relate to, you're not going to take that from us.
You're not going to take it, right.
But with them, here's somebody who's directly saying, no, you're not. And nothing. Hands is off. Hands is complete. And I don't understand that, because that's not the energy that we get from them. That's just not the energy.
Right.
So, you know, and then this whole thing with the that's coming up. Well, with, you know, Chief X was saying, and he, you know, did you see my video? And I had to call. I called a couple people, and I'm gonna ask you the same thing. You know what I mean? They keep saying, well, these are Afro-Asiatics, right? Which was a term that was coined like in like 1874 to 1905 with Gutenberg, who called it, you know, Afro-Asiatic or Asiatic, Afro-Asiatic.
Yeah.
They always ask us, name me an African tribe that called themselves black. Name me an African tribe that called themselves this. I have name me a tribe that was in the Middle East, the Mediterranean, that called themselves Afro-Asiatics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to hear that.
Yeah. Right.
Because they claim it as like it's a race, and it's not a race. It's not a group of people.
Right. Right.
And somehow the whole North Africa, the tip of North Africa, became light skinned. So we have the Hermetic hypothesis. Now and then it moves. So and this is too far south for North Africa, or this is only a few people that was in North Africa, and they go with the description of the Negro, which is the curly hair and the flat nose, the big lips, knowing the diversity that comes with our genetics, with our genes.
Right.
And
right.
some of it isn't from just the climate or the environment. Sometimes your genes just express differently.
Right.
Sometimes they just come out different. That's the whole thing about evolution, right? Evolution, you may get one, like albinism, right? You may have not one parent that's an albino, but then you get a child that's albino. So it's not difficult to see that how the diversity within skin color, lips, complexion may change. And then as you go, along upper in latitude, um, that it may change. It starts to become more common.
Right.
But how is it now they're not black? And that tripped me out. I mean, they say no, there wasn't no black Africans. There was no black Africans in North Africa. And so I asked, what other kind of Africans are there?
Right. My biggest thing is that imaginary line, the sub-Saharan line.
Oh my goodness.
That's my biggest thing. Are you telling me that we couldn't cross this imaginary line? We was afraid. Black people was afraid to go up north. It's it's crazy.
Yeah.
My thing, like from the book "Destruction of a Black Civilization,"
Civilization. Mm-hmm.
that's where we got pushed back,
Mm-hmm.
and that was our last line of defense because we got pushed back to those regions that we now call sub-Saharan Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But there's plenty of history where we was all in Arabia, all the way up
Yes.
to the Euphrates.
Yep.
I mean,
India.
we
Yes.
have the histories of Herodotus,
Mm-hmm.
but we've got pushed back so far. But we made our stance at because we were strong there in Central, South, and West Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But the North was overrun first by Assyrians,
Mm-hmm.
Babylonians,
Mm-hmm.
Persians, Greeks,
Mm-hmm.
Romans, the Umayyad Empire,
Mm-hmm.
the Turks. It was so many people that came through. Of course, it's going to change the dynamics. But like you said before, African people, even though we had many different tribes, we saw ourselves as one people, just
Right.
many different tribes.
Right.
This whole thing that you only could claim one tribe, that's just the Euro-centered mindset. You have to just claim this one tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're fighting over right now. We just can claim the tribe out of West Africa. But when Sheikh Ati Diop and Theophile Bing and all of our ancestors, they was fighting to prove that these are African civilization and these people were dark complected. They wasn't too concerned with what was their DNA.
Right.
But to show, they wanted to show, hey, dark people played a vital role in the start of civilization.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the conversation should start at. And then we can move on to other places. But saying, they like Chief X, they're pseudo, they was wrong. Man, there's just so much disrespect.
Man, that was total disrespect. That was the man. That was bad. That was so bad. And then even one of the other brothers was talking about how they was like, well, there was this. They said, well, there was a document. It was documented that one of the pharaohs had like so many harems or some other nation's wives that came in, and so you knew that they were, mixed a lot. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let's just use reasoning, right? Let's just use some simple reasoning on here, right? We don't need to go no primary. You got one king with 500 harems, with 500 women. How many of those women he actually gonna have kids with? Now, even with that, that's not the general public. The general public wasn't carrying, 3, 4 wives because they wasn't raiding and pillaging villages like that. There's no documentary that says that they just went somewhere and started just taking slaves because they wanted more land or they thought that their God was better than somebody else's God. I haven't seen any type of evidence that shows that.
Right.
So how is it? Yeah. So how is it they just became this whole mixture of all they were mixing this and that. But when I look into the history of it, I hear them talking about these people are troglodytes and these people are dirty and these people are filthy and we don't like them because of this and that, and they were a little bit xenophobic. But I didn't see them just running around mixing with people like that. And that's what Dr. Williams said. Walter Williams said. He said the Egyptians never did that. They didn't just go around just mixing with other people in general. Now they might have did that for to make bridges between kingdoms and queens and stuff like that. But as far as the general
Yeah.
people on a massive level, like say how America is today, how everybody's just a mixing pot, I don't see no evidence of that. You can't tell me that because you see a pharaoh that had 30 wives from a tribe from wherever that counts for the whole public, the whole population.
No, it don't. It don't. They're trying to base that ancient society on the way people look now today.
But you can't do that.
After you can't, you can't do it.
Yeah. Like, look at their hair. He said, look at their hair. Look at their hair. Do you have any? Do you see anybody with hair like that? And they got the flat nose and they got this and that. And I'm just sitting there like, dude, you can't take a current population of there and then represent that as ancient DNA samples. And then when
Right.
when the dude got on, I think his chief X got on, and he was saying that I think it was Queen Ty had E1, B1, whatever, it shows her this and that proves this. And then Chris went on and says, well, if you keep reading it, it says that it's sub-Saharan. It goes through the sub-Saharan. Oh, that's pseudo, this, that. You just totally dismissed
Yeah.
the evidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, they always, you said,
Right. Right.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying that Queen T is the black lady with the fro. And
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we got. I mean, if we just look at all the pictures, it's just so obvious, and they tell us not look at how they depicted themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't even want you to look at that. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to look. They don't want you to look at that man. And my thing is that a lot of these guys feel like like West Africa is like a bastard child, and so they want to attack the people who study and practice Kemetic history or spirituality, um, and because they're not giving that same attention to West Africa, and I've always said this, then why don't you do it? Surely, if you
Right.
do it, then people will see the work that you did and people will gravitate toward that. There's no reason to try to take me off my square
Exactly.
or ask me why I'm not doing this. Why don't you do it?
Right.
And it just made sense. I'm like, it just didn't make sense. And then the fact that now they want to say, oh, people go back and forth between Christianity and Kemet. And, you know, I don't get it. But I talked to a few people that's in the community, and I will say that one thing that the Hebrew community have on the people of Western or African spirituality, whatever it is they have the organization of camps. And I don't think we need
Yeah.
an organization of camps, but I think that we need more organization
Right.
because we believe more into STEM, right? And so
Right.
that networking and organization will bring more resources for us to move forward in today's society. Because that shit that they're talking about back in the day, like we studied history because we just want to know more about who we are and we have pride and we venerate our ancestors.
Right. Right.
But all that stuff was based on science for today, of that day. And we need to get back to applying that science for
Right.
today and in political science. And I was like, we need like I wish I had more pull or I wish I had more notoriety. Um, but we need like a Mayatian association, not a federation, just an association where I can call on, like, we may have, it may be just Zoom meetings, or we might meet up in Vegas one year. We might, but if there was something, that you were expertise in, then brothers who know is in the association knows who to go to for their expertise, advice, or services. We get together,
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
build on real estate, we can build on community outreach as far as in getting people life insurance policy, loans, things of that nature. You don't have to belong to, I mean, people don't have to join a church or a temple. If you don't want to, you don't want to pray, or you don't want to practice the necessarily the spiritual rituals, then you don't have to. You don't have to do that publicly, but our goal is still the same, and the principles in which we go by is which in our mission statement is ma'at, is to live in balance.
right,
We
right.
need that.
Yeah, we do. We really do. But there's people out there, it gets drowned out. That message that you exactly what you just said, it gets drowned out. You might have somebody, believe it or not, polite in the beginning was heading in that route. I don't
Hmm.
know, I don't know if it was fake, but he was heading in that route. But I think all the money coming in at one time messed his head up.
Oh, yeah. And that's why you need a
Um, um,
board. That's why you need a board. You need a board, a
you
bookkeeper.
need a board, yeah,
You
yeah,
need people to keep time. You have to run that like an organization, a legit organization
yeah,
with a hierarchy and structures and positions. And if you run it as such, I think that it will strive. For instance, like I have no problem. I have no problem when people say, "Oh, you're in a cult," because people say, "Oh, you study majority, you're in a cult." I don't. What's a cult? But that doesn't bother me. So I don't feel like I even need to have to address it or answer it. Right?
right,
That's to me. That's what you call it. Uh, it's not clickbait, but it's more like a trigger. Right? Trying to get a reaction.
yeah,
Oh, you in a
yeah,
click? Okay. All right. But if I'm in this cult or I'm in this association, and like I am a 2 year in trading, and I'm doing forex, and I also do regular stocks. If I can get with some
uh,
brothers in my organization, my association, and I can either get help or help them and help them build, and then maybe like, hey, you know what, uh, you know, there's a real estate opportunity here. Do we have anybody that's maybe available? And then you handle like business. You send them all the information and the data, the market analysts. You send them all that, and then you move. But you move
right,
as an organization. So you're gonna do some stuff together, and you're gonna do some stuff as an organization.
right,
And that's what we need, because no one is go get anywhere praying and waiting for Jesus or Yahweh or nothing like that. And you're
no,
not going to get anywhere in America without a economic base to gain political power or at
yeah,
least influence.
yeah,
It does not happen in America without it.
right. You got to have it. You got to have it.
Yeah. I mean, there's land in Africa. You can, like I was saying, like for instance, with Kanye. Kanye had $1 billion, or he was worth $1 billion. But let's say he had at least good 500 or 300 million cash. But he had the influence to gain loans. He should have saw this shit coming. He should have made relationships and connections overseas, in China or Africa. He should have started his own distribution or start building it. He should have
Right,
started his own manufacturing. So when he said what
right,
he said, he wouldn't have got, if they would have let him go, it wouldn't have been a thing. They're like, okay, well, I'll just distribute it myself. My people going to buy from me anyway. I'll do my own record label. I'll do my own all distribution. I'll do
right.
my own marketing. I don't need you. I can get it printed from over here. I can get it put in from over here. You know?
But yeah, but hey, Rue, that takes so much planning.
Yeah, it
That takes
does.
a lot of planning. Because his stardom happened so fast, and they put so much money in the beginning. You know, he didn't have time to think. That's why we got to train them up young.
Yeah.
That it's already in them to when the deal comes, they know exactly what to do. Because you're right. You okay? You making these shoes. I mean, you can take your plant into West Africa
Mm-hmm.
and build all the shoes, and people gonna buy your shoes because you Kanye,
Right.
you Jay-Z. If all those guys would get together,
Mm-hmm.
then you got the Shaqs, the Kobe's. If you put they will put their trust in Kanye's brand and promote his shoe, and you got a whole factory in Ghana or even Mississippi.
Yes. Yeah.
But but I'm not being conspiratorial, but they see that coming.
Mm.
And if you don't already have it in your head, they're gonna come in because I was reading about Bill Cosby. He was definitely gonna buy NBC. It's not a rumor. That's what he wanted. Then all of this came out,
Mm.
and you know that deal didn't go through.
Yeah.
Now this is what okay. Yeah, thank you. Could you be quiet just a little bit? This is where Maat come in. If we teach them Maat when they're young, then you know to come up balanced. So when you make those moves, they don't have nothing against you but a bunch of slander. You know, slander, it's just slander, but you have to live your life in a certain way because we already know they're going to attack you and try to defame your name, destroy your name, because Bill Cosby was huge. I mean, he was the biggest thing we had out there. He was getting ready to buy NBC, and nothing was going to stop him except for some scandal stuff.
Yeah.
So even what you were saying for like with Kanye, his mindset would have to been there early.
Mm.
To when he started making the money, he knew exactly what to do.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
But yeah, okay, you got what I'm saying. Yeah.
I see what you're saying now. I see where you're coming with. Yeah.
So and I think this is the first time that we can really see it. I don't know how old you are. I'm 51 now. When I was coming up, I wanted to make my own clothing brand, my own shoe brand. That's all we thought about. We didn't think about the obstacles, except for the natural obstacle that's going to be in our way. We knew that we had the talent to do it, but it takes so much money to get this stuff. That's how they keep us out.
Mm-hmm.
It takes multiple of millions of dollars to get your brand as strong as Kanye was.
Right.
It is very difficult to do, but he got there, and him and Jay-Z could have went another route, but because we didn't have the institutions in place when they was coming up to know that there has to be something different. I think now this is the only time we really see it. We know what we have to do. We know it. And so the next generations, when they get those opportunities, I see something different. I see they're going to do things different. The children that's growing up now, the kids at 10, 12, 13, coming up with the father and the mother and to get home, they're going to understand what needs to be done. And it just took all of this struggle to get us here. Like, oh, okay, even though we have the opportunity now, that there's something still there. That this black and white thing is not going to go away easy. It's just not going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to plan better. I said all that to say we just need to plan better to make those decisions.
Yeah. With that, and I mean, people don't see that far ahead. Though they don't want to put in the work, and that's why I said that we need a Mayatian association or federation, because not everyone is going to buy in. And if you
Right.
wait on everybody to buy in, it will never happen. And it may
Right.
be something where there's only two people who form this association, or maybe five people to form this association or federation. But as it starts to grow, as black people's behavior is, they want to be on the end thing. What is this? How are they doing this? Oh, let me join this. Let me start getting into this. But if you have a group of people, like for instance, there was one article that I had read. I think it was like about a year ago, and it was an African country on the West Coast, and they were borrowing something like 200 million from China. 200 million, and I'm like, wait a minute. And for that, China got certain rights to resources or port,
Right.
and I'm like, wait a minute. We got 200 million. I mean, I don't have a person, but I know there's black people that got 200
Right.
million, even if they went in
Right.
together. But you see people saying, "No, I don't want to. I don't want to look at Africa because we need to clean up our own backyards and we need to focus on here and our fight is here." And a person who tells me that does not understand world economics.
Right. Right.
I don't give a damn how smart. I don't care a damn how many people you have on your channel, how many subs. You do not understand world economy, world politics, economics. You
Right.
do not, because if your world powers are there in China, in Africa, same people who say that Africans are shithole people, same people who call them falashas, the same people who do all these things, but they're in Africa and they're controlling the diamond mines. They're controlling
Right.
the natural resources, the gases, all this stuff. And here we are, and we're buying it that, oh, no, you're not African, you're American, and this and that. And you don't want to even look over there where you can make connections over there, gain rights over there, take that money, bring it back to your community, to the U.S., and develop while still developing over there. You don't have
Right.
to rape that country. You can be fair with them and build at the same time building here. But the financial opportunities that's here as a mass are not there for us. It's just not.
Right.
The majority of industries are already controlled. And anytime you create anything, I don't care who it is, most of it is being bought out by someone else who has more
Right.
money, more resources, and no matter what you do, you got to ask them for it. That's why I said I get why Shaq and Charles Barkley are saying the things they saying. The people writing their checks saying you say it.
Right.
So
I always look at the Byron Allen case when he took Viacom to court.
mm-hmm.
He said they got control. They got too much control. There's no way I can compete with them. They won't even let you in the door.
mm.
They give you a little piece because they own all the marketing, all the internet services. You have to go to them just for a little piece, and so he was suing for more control. And of course, he didn't win. But here's a billionaire. Byron Allen is a billionaire
Yeah.
saying that he's being discriminated against. That just tells you. So if a billionaire is being discriminated against, how much power and control do they really have over media?
Hey, man.
It's upward to the trillion.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Because they'll tell you, man. They be like, what they say. It was like, I don't care who's the president or who's the leader. The only thing that matters is who controls the money.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and they controlling the money. They controlling, as far as in the industries that we have. They control the music industry. They control the
Right.
movie industry. They do. They just, and that's no knock. I don't even see why they would be upset about saying that. I mean, hell, I wish we could
Right.
say that we had that much power and
Right. Right.
influence.
I would love to be in that position.
Yeah, that just that it really shows the amount of work that you put in from a people who, just coming out of not even ancient times, but just from the 19 what World War II was what 1950 1940 somewhere in there, coming from out of World War II for what this people went through, and then to come out of that and to control a major percentage of banking, to control the music industry, or have big influence in the music industry, to have that type of influence in sports entertainment. That's a
Right.
big feat. That's what Kanye said. I'm jealous of that. I want that. Why my people ain't got that?
Right.
So I don't know why that would be called anti-Semitic. You know what I'm saying? I don't get that. You know, but
And it's not. They just didn't want us saying it. They didn't want us saying it.
yeah. And the one
Did
brother
not bring that up.
and the one brother said, "Oh, he said something against the. He should said he gets what he gets. He's anti-Semitism won't be tolerated." I was like, "What the hell are you talking about? Why the hell would you that? It just didn't make any sense to me on Facebook for somebody to say that. It's just stupid."
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man. But that's all I was going on, man. And I really don't even get on that much because a lot of the stuff that be going on now is just some foolishness, and people are just at it for really no reason over YouTube beefs or whatever. They're getting away from the
Yeah.
information and getting personal. So, it's nothing that I'm trying to really get in on for clicks and likes and that stuff. I got too much other shit going on for that. But this was so like, and I waited. I waited a few days because I really, what I mean, I really, really was expecting the Hebrew Israelites to come out in force and to at least make a statement, um, or in support of Kyrie, and it just didn't happen.
Right. Right. It didn't. It didn't. But it just shows what real power looks like.
Damn, damn, damn. Yeah, because hey, you know what? They can be on They can be on SVDL, or they can be on the House of Consciousness, and they can single out one of them from the herd and talk shit and be like, "Why you got this person on here?" Da da da. But when the when the big dogs show up,
Yeah.
when the Lion of Judah show up on your ass, I don't see nothing. I don't see no. I don't see it. You know, And now, like I said, for me, that was just discipline. And that's not me saying all the Hebrew Israelites. There's Hebrew Israelites who, are speaking and talking against it. But I'm talking about as a collective. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
Right.
about.
Right.
So I'm not talking about
Where is the
individual.
General Yohanan at?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because, like you said, I guarantee you, if they said something like, "Oh, y'all not Egyptians," or black people, not y'all, but black people wasn't Egyptians, I guarantee you, we coming out in force.
Right.
I guarantee you that motherfuckers couldn't sit in the front row talking about we are the real Egyptians like they did anti fight anti whatever that shit is. That wouldn't have happened with us. But we would have
Right.
handled it with scholarship. We would have approached it. The people who are in the position would have approached it and challenged that. And so that's what I was
Exactly.
expecting from that group. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I was expecting. And I was like, oh shit. He said the black kids, they trying to fuck with all my they finna come out the woodwork. These motherfuckers finna get they finna get it in. Give us the call, we ready. Nothing. Fucking crickets. These motherfuckers probably praying to the most high right now. Shit. For real, man. This shit's crazy. Yeah, yeah. But what you got going on, man? Anything new happening with you? Anything that's coming up?
No, no, I really ain't. I don't have nothing. I've been doing a lot of study on the Persian period. 'Cause,
Okay.
one day I'm gonna bring all of that work out. I got a lot, so much work on that Judaism really started in the Persian period.
Oh,
It really started in the Persian
oh, in the
period.
Persian
Now
period.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Now they had the kingdom of Judah, they had a kingdom of Israel, but those were different tribes. But it all came together in the Persian period, and then that's all the documents were beginning to be the final edits of those documents came in the Greek period. That's why it's so much Greek influence.
mm-hmm.
But the there's so much evidence in the Persian period showing that that's when Judaism really took off or got its formation, got its start. So one day I want to bring that out.
Mm-hmm. You know, Walter Williams said that Judaism wasn't even the first thing to come out. He said it was like one of the second to last. But they say, well, he says that most people think that Judaism was first, and it wasn't.
What you mean for
As far
that
as
particular belief?
as far as the chronology of like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, he's saying that Judaism wasn't first. It didn't go Judaism, Christianity, Islam. I think he's saying that it was like Christianity, Islam, and Judaism.
Oh yeah, I have to check that out.
And then
I
based
never
on
heard of it.
and then based on what you're saying, it could be because the Persian period was the last period. Chronologically, it would have been as far as in those three, you would have had Christianity that started, then you would have had Islam, who were Christians at one point, and pagans, and then you had the Persians come in afterwards. So that's it. I
No,
forgot what you
no,
said.
no. The Persians came before. The
Before who?
Persians came before. Yeah.
The Persians came before which one? Christianity.
Oh, yeah, Christianity.
So they came in before first century.
Yeah, yeah, around 600 BC, about 550 BC.
Oh, okay, okay. That must be thinking about the
Yeah,
Ottoman. But yeah, but he said, he was saying that he said that it wasn't. He's saying that it wasn't in that order. Walter Williams was saying it.
yeah, yeah. I'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah, yeah. But that's it's I don't know, man. That's crazy. And my thing is this: if there were no black, if there were no black Africans, right, in North Africa, if there was no black Africans in North Africa, where the hell did these black Hebrew Israelites come from? Because they would have been
Right.
north of North Africa. That's where they would have originally been. So how do you get them? Because some of them were like Bantus, and all kind of shit.
Yeah, but you had Moors all the way in Spain. They got pictures of them.
Yeah, but they
So
say
how?
what? But they say wasn't no black Africans. So I'm just going based off their narrative. What the? How the fuck you get here then?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Hey, have you listened to Tariq Bey? He's more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He having some information about the Moors. You know, I haven't heard. I just listened to him a while ago, a few days ago. But he definitely has some stuff. I was wondering, um, when the Moors came back, when they got expelled out of Spain, um, where did these so-called or Jewish people did they come with them? Because
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. Yeah, they did.
Okay.
There's write this down. This guy, his name is Pimenta Bay. Pimenta Bay. He breaks it down really good. Now, some of the stuff he said I don't like because he doesn't like the word black, of course, but
Yeah.
he knows the history really well.
Okay.
He breaks it down really good.
And then
Yeah, I don't
okay.
like the Chief X guy.
Yeah.
He's a butthurt ADOS guy. Yeah, so when ADOS was really big, he was against Pan Africans and Afrocentric, and the ADOS movement is the new movement, and we gonna show you how it's done.
Mhm.
And after that, didn't the ADOS was saying by 2020 they was gonna take over the political system. They was gonna cause all the changes, and here we are, 2022, get ready, 2023, and the movement ain't as strong as it used to be. And Chief X was in that movement, and man, he was anti-RBG. And what's so funny about him, I met Chief X at an RBG here in Texas, an RBG weekend. He had all flags and all the colors. Then all of a sudden, he ADOS and he hating Egypt. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Huh.
Yeah. So I guess he's on a rampage against the conscious community because ADOS didn't pan out like he wanted it to.
Man, it's too much. People don't. Man, it's just way too. I mean, we Cherokee, we Issaquah, we fucking Choctaw. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker tell you everything except fucking African. Hey, you all
Everything
these,
but African.
you
Yeah.
ain't fucking African. You know.
I think the Native Americans is gonna get the Aboriginal next. You're gonna start sending them to court. They're gonna have to prove themselves in court.
Cool.
The Aboriginal dudes.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know
Because
what?
I didn't see some shows where they started to get upset. The Native Americans, they're getting upset at people like Dane Calloway. I think one of them sued Dane Calloway.
Huh?
One of these Native American groups sued Dane Calloway.
Oh.
So I think that's going to be the next thing we're going to be hearing about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all opportunity. Like if your information is legit, that'll be the time to bring it out.
Yeah. Huh. The thing is, like, a lot of people always talk about the slave trade, but they don't ever really talk about the I always call it the domestic slave trade. So they don't talk about the slave trade after it was banned, but the slave trade continued from North and South America, between North and South America. Right. And these are a lot of the indigenous people, a lot of the Africans who had made it with the First Nations people who later became Mexican, who went into the southern part and expanded west. And then those people who were slaves to, indigenous tribes, native tribes, and became tribe members. They may have never, made it or had any type of offspring with a Native American.
Right. When my grandfather, he swore up and down he was Choctaw, and he taught my mother they was Choctaw, but they were the Blackfoot within a Choctaw. So my mom to this day said, she tell me your grandfather said we're Blackfoot Indians, not African. Like if I call her now, she's gonna tell me that.
Yeah.
So I did the research, and my grandfather's mother was born on the reservation. a Native American. So all she knew, but she still was an African woman. She was just a slave of the Choctaw people.
Right. Right.
But that's all she ever knew. She didn't know nothing about Africa. And she taught my grandfather that these are your people, you're Indian. And he told my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So like you were saying, we don't talk about the stuff that happened right here on this land, the slave trade inside America, Central America, and South America.
Right. 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 And like I said, I think that's the biggest issue when people start talking about, well, there was only these many people that came here, so how will you get these numbers? If you stop looking at when it started, when it stopped, or when they banned it, right? But after even they banned it, there is documentation, and I have to research, somebody was willing to me find it, that they were still doing black market slavery. Like they were still transporting people over, hiding them in cargo ships and stuff, and they would even burn the ships. They would even just, they did these things, and so when you see a lot of these people, you know, that call themselves Native Americans and from black people, you understand there was another element to that whole slave trade that most people aren't accounting for. They're not talking about, and some people got native blood. I get it. They used to always tell me that, hey, you guys, my family, oh, we're Cherokee, we got Cherokee blood. They showed me a picture of my grandmother who had hair that was long down here. They said that she was Cherokee. And so I grew up the whole time believing, we're Cherokee. I got Cherokee in my family, and I never talked about the black in my family. It was always the Cherokee, right?
Right.
And then as I got older, I did my DNA. I was 92 point some percent West African. I had I had like 1% Irish, and then like 1% or 2% like European. It was the other 8% came from just specks, but nothing was native, not one. And they was like,
oh man,
yeah, they was like, how is that? They gotta be. I was like, no, we come from the same. We come from the same parents. What are you talking about?
Right.
So, and they couldn't believe that. They could not believe that.
Yeah, it's a hard reality what happened to us, man.
Yeah.
The hard reality.
Yeah. So yeah, I just saw JJ said that he said that I was late. We've been on it for 5 days, but that's why I stated that I'm not talking about the individual person, or I'm not talking about even what I'm doing. I'm talking about organization and action. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about getting up on YouTube and doing what I'm doing. I'm talking about people that are in charge of groups who can organize and have an agenda to bring more awareness and bring action to the injustice that's happening to Kyrie Irving. That's what I'm talking about. Right?
Right. When you get a group of Hebrews and shut down where they play basketball, Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
They shut the arena down for a whole month.
Yeah. Call a course of action to the stadium.
Right.
See how many people you can get out there. Start writing letters to the NBA. His name's Sterling. Start writing letters to him. Write it to the press. Show up. Show your support, even if it's buy tickets to the game and show up with I support Kyrie T-shirts, or Hebrew the Negro with the what I'm saying, just something support. This man is in the Lions Den by himself. So,
Right.
you know, I mean, that's all I was saying. You know, but I guess you know they think otherwise, and there was no disrespect to the people. I was just showing, you know, really just my disappointment. Um, you know that's what mainly what it was. Just it was just my disappointment that I thought that because I believe that the brothers can believe what they want to, and they have that right. And if they believe so strongly in it, then they should be able to stand up and stand on a square on it.
Right.
You know, because we like just even people with Jabari like, oh, Jabari's not a Kemetic priest. Oh, I'm gonna say something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because that's what I stand on. If somebody from an outside group attacked you and I'm aware of it, I'm coming to your defense even if you don't need it. I'm
Right.
coming to your aid even if you don't deserve it, because that's what I stand on. And if there's something where it says, well, we need the X, Y, and Z, we need resources, if I have it and I can do it, then that's what I'm going to do. So that's what, like I said, that was just my it was just my disappointment, and I don't want, like I said, I hopefully no one takes it a certain way, but just like the things that you were saying, like, oh, they just believe whatever, it makes you want to say, well, why would Kyrie Irving be a Hebrew Israelite, dude? Like, you supposed to you supposed to have his back more than me. You supposed to have his back, but it just
Right.
it just didn't show that way. You know. Let's see. Did you see Jeremiah? They did something. It was 7 hours. Let's see. I just want to get to the meat of what the hell was he saying?
The dream and all that, and then but you got to go back and listen to that "I Have a Dream" speech. But my point is,
Hey, Haru.
Yeah.
Haru,
once
I'm gonna get
again,
off. I gotta get these kids to sleep.
All right, man. I appreciate you coming on, y'all, man.
All right.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace, man. So,
started allowing Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown, and so many of us from the Black Panther Party and other parties to join that movement. That's when J. Edgar Hoover moved in and straight killed him. Malcolm X, the same thing. When Malcolm gave that speech about us being the dry bones, that's in the book of Ezekiel. When Malcolm started turning the corner and seeing that we were the children of Israel, there was no way. There was no way that Malcolm nor Mr. King could be allowed to live and teach that. You understand what I'm saying? This is how deep this thing went. And as you said, as I said, J. Edgar Hoover said it himself, no black Messiah must be allowed to arise from the Negro people. And in this day and time, as we move forward and move closer, each one of us with our gifts in the spirit, all of us are targeted. All of us. And we must now understand that, look, all incremental differences to the side, if we're claiming Israel, walking it, talking it, striving to be moral men and women in this, because our sisters are just as important in this movement as well, we are all now targets. Make no mistakes. Okay? I don't care about what Kanye said yesterday. I'm looking at what Kanye is saying today. Okay? All of us are open to being given that mercy. None of us are even worthy of it, but we are. So I'm looking at why they're coming at him now. He was also called anti-Semite. Why? Because he said that we're the real Jews, so how can I be anti-Semite? That's the main thing that they're really mad at. That's what they're mad at. So see, all of us now have to now galvanize and more or less strategize and brace ourselves for what's coming. And I'm gonna keep saying Yasha had a very insightful outlook on this before we went on air. It's good, but it's also gonna be bad.
So I agree with the brother saying 100%. I agree. 100%, 150%. I agree with everything this brother is saying. And this is what I was mainly talking about is the galvanizing of support and resources to address this particular thing, right? And here's something right here. They're saying Kyrie Irving has backup Hebrew to Negroes. They are not ready for. Let me read this on the other side. They are not ready for. I can't read that. OCC. For 8 years, they have been available to the public on Amazon. The movie Hebrews to Negroes Wake Up Black America has been available to the public on Amazon.com since 2018. And the movie Hebrew to Negroes 2 Revelations, The Age of the Awakening has been available to the public on Amazon.com since 2019. Shortly after this around 2021, Amazon banned independent filmmakers the ability to self-publish non-fictional movies such as documentaries on their platform. Amazon had to solicit the filmmakers in order for the documentary to be available on their platform. However, prior to this, Ron Dalton tried to publish his Curse of Israel documentary series and the Message documentary series on Amazon, but they were rejected. Therefore, today they exist on DVD at www.thenegrowork.com and Amazon.com, or you can stream it from movies. So, right here, I mean, it's telling you that, you know, what they're doing is kind of crazy because, you know, because it already existed. You know what I'm saying? It was already there. So there's no need to. I mean, what they're doing to the brother is just wrong. Plain and simple. It's wrong. And you know, definitely, for me. It's just a freedom of speech. That's what it was. A freedom to express and have an opinion without being crucified or condemned for having.
They colonized us in Cape Verde in 1640. The Portuguese, they colonized us. And, you know,
Portuguese colonized. Oh, okay.
And Portuguese colonization means Roman Empire.
I traced my father right back to Portuguese.
Kanye West and Kendrick Lamar and Amari Stoudemire and these high-profile humans who really could be doing anything on the planet right now in private jets, having the best time of life, stopping to what they...
Did you want to say something about Amari Stoudemire, Dequan?
You know what it was? I was just letting y'all know when he first started, he was on our side, and then when he moved over there to play basketball, they actually converted him over to a black Jewish man. So now he wears the bra cup on his head, and he got an S curl on the side of his head. Yeah.
They're doing to say we have.
And the problem is that his roots, real quick, Karima, his last name is Jewish, and that's why he started going to that side, because his last name rooted him to his great grandmother. So he don't know no better.
It's a slang name, though.
He don't know that though because they got his ass. Right.
The people from this region came from somewhere that has link with Israel and the Torah. We've always known that, just that we weren't practicing. But deep down within everybody, they know it.
I'm a Jew by birth because we are from the tribe of Gad.
We've done big data polls in these regions. We've taken surveys. We can show you the people of Nigeria that before they knew there was a state of Israel, while the Jewish people were being raped in Europe and the poorest of people around the world, they still were identifying as being from the house of Israel.
And when I came in contact with this idea of Judaism, it was like, boom, I found myself back home.
When the Torah it was given to
So fam, that's all I got for tonight. If I can do more videos, I'm gonna try to do more. This was kind of a late one. JJ, man, you definitely got to do something. But I just had to say something about this because it was just bothering me. And I was, talking to people all day, and people who were saying some shit or had an opinion without really knowing exactly what was going on or the reason for the suspension. Without looking into what he actually did, just bothered the shit out of me. So, hey, I want to peace out to everybody. We got the big debate coming up pretty soon, which is Jabari Osaze versus Garfield Reed. And, it was the Bible, did the Bible come from Kemet? So, shout out again to the Lion's Den, SVDL, and the House of Consciousness. Hey, y'all stay up. This is Brother Daniel Heru. And y'all take care of yourselves and each other. Hotepu.